Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm actually in my car again. I know the last vlog I started in my car, but today's video is not a vlog. Today's video is about how I found out I was pregnant and kind of like what my symptoms were, because I always found these so interesting. So let's see here. To preference, we weren't trying for a baby, but we weren't not trying. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. I have not been on birth control. I've talked about it before in other videos of mine, but I haven't been in birth control for probably, I mean, now probably it'll be almost 2 years. But when I got pregnant about a year and a half or so, I wasn't doing very good on the birth control. I had some issues. My period was like whack. Really is just like the best answer there. It was just a bad time. So, I ended up getting off of it. So it was kind of like we were family planning, and we were, I guess, doing pretty good. It took quite a long time for the accidents to happen, but we are more than ecstatic. I think we kind of both were at like the point where it was like, if it happened, it happened and we'd be happy. Obviously I wanted a kid so bad, but you know, it's a lot of financial responsibility, especially on my boyfriend, because I'm the one who has to stay home longer with the kid to feed it and all that stuff, because we hope to breastfeed. So going into the month that I conceived, which would have been December, I became extremely constipated. That was probably my number one symptom, was constipation. I was miserable. I would say honestly, I mean, I don't know the exact day I conceived, but if I had to guess, and like from my app, I'd say like a few days after conception, I was constipated, and it was terrible because it was December. So, you know, it was Christmas time. We were traveling so much. So I also was kind of like, oh, we're traveling, so maybe that's what it was. Um, I think my next kind of like, wait, am I pregnant kind of moment was actually my boyfriend's nephews. We saw them for the holidays, and normally they're very shy. We don't see them like a ton. We see them fairly often. Like, I think they know who I am and like all of that, you know? But they liked me. I mean, to the point where like they just wanted to play with me, and it wasn't like there was no warm-up period. Like, they just wanted to play with me. And you know, you could chalk it up to, oh, they are like getting to know me better. I've been around for a few years now. But it was a little suspicious. I mean, they really liked me. Like, so that was kind of my next thing. I was like, maybe. And honestly, those were like my big things. My boobs kind of hurt. Um, they kind of hurt, but it wasn't like a normal hurt. So come like the week before we found out I was pregnant, and maybe give or take a few days, this is very TMI, my nipples itched. Like, it was horrible. I was at work and I literally just had to sit there and like go like this. It they itched. It was itchy. Like, it wasn't like a pain, it was an itch. And I'm like, that's so weird. And probably for that whole week I had been asking my boyfriend Timmy to go to the store and get me a pregnancy test, because I work the way like I work away from all the stores, and like he has to drive by the stores on his way home from work. So I was like, just go get me one, you know? And you know, I wasn't to the point where it was like, okay, I've missed my period. I have a very hard cycle to track. I mean, it can be like 28 days on the dot, or it can be 34, 35 days. That's my normal cycle, and then I've noticed every few months, like every once or twice a year, I'll have like a 45-day cycle. So it was kind of like, I had just had a 4 to 5-day cycle too. So I was kind of like, I don't know, like I don't feel like I've missed my period yet. But I had like that gut feeling like I need to take a pregnancy test. It wasn't that like I even thought it was going to be positive, you know? I've had so many negative pregnancy tests, and I feel like, you know, you get so disappointed when they're negative. Now I'm getting like the sun as it comes up, so I'm gonna try and like shrink. I've gotten so many negative pregnancy tests that I've never really been like, oh, this is it, you know? I've always, like, there's been times where I'm like, it's positive. It has to be positive. Then it's negative, and then you get like a little sad, a little disappointed because you kind of had it in your head like, oh, you're gonna be pregnant, and then you're not. So honestly, I was in denial. I was like, it's not gonna be positive. And I have so many videos of me like taking pregnancy tests, like, you know, the cute where they're like, oh, my reaction. No, I did not even think to do that. So I was at work, and sometimes I have to travel for work, and I was traveling for work. And it's like day trip, so it's not like I travel around the world or anything, you know? So I was farther away than normal, and I was having the issues where I was insanely itchy. I couldn't handle it. I was constipated, so I was grumpy, and I had a cut on my lip, and as it was bleeding, I tasted it, and normally the taste of blood does not bother me. This was disgusting. It was so metallic and gross that I was like, that is weird. And I don't know why that was the thing, but that was the thing that like put me to the, you know, it's that was the moment I was like, I think I'm pregnant. I need to get a pregnancy test. Later that afternoon, I got a call from my boyfriend. Well, I guess I got messages from him, and I called him, and it turned out he wasn't feeling very well, and he's never sick. So he said he had gone home. So I, you know, on my way home, it's that time of year, you know, where it could be anything. You know, it's December, but it also could be the C word, if you know what I'm saying. And I kind of was preparing, you know, he had a fever, he really didn't feel good. Either way, I, you know, I can't go to work the next day, and especially not until we get tests. So, I was like, I better go grab some groceries and stuff. So I did a Target pickup order. In my Target pickup order, I threw some pregnancy tests in there. You know, I ran to the store on my way home, threw it in my car, like, I just had them bring it out to my car because obviously I wasn't if he's not feeling good and I spent all my time with him, I you know, being safe, precautious, so I got home and I didn't even really say anything. I don't think I said anything. God, I don't even remember. He was so sad and miserable. I think I made him some soup yeah, I think I made him some soup or he already had some soup and, you know, just eating it, trying to feel better, and he was just in bed. So I was kind of sitting in the living room away from him. I didn't want to bother him, especially if he was sick. And we went to bed that day. And that morning, oh my God, you guys just popped off of my window. Okay. Push. Pop. Oh God, oh God, oh God. And my mic is all over the place. Like, you guys are crooked now. You know what? We're just gonna do it because I don't have too much time left here. Hold on. Got a notification here on my phone. Well, anyways, I went ahead, took the pregnancy test, and it immediately I mean within seconds it was positive. And I was in shock. I was like, you know, I've never seen 2 lines before. So I was like, oh my God. And I didn't even, I just kind of sat there, and then I realized that the overflow line didn't come on. Like it didn't pop up within the time that the like positive came up. So I was like, is it? Is it not? But I'm like, normally you don't get false positive, you get like a false negative. So I literally just took the test, and poor Timmy, he was still in bed, like miserable, and I'm like, I think I'm pregnant. And I like showed him the test. Like, how romantic, right? And he's like, no. I'm like, no, you don't normally get a false positive. And I'm like, the little line didn't show up, right? But I mean, it's kind of coming in halfway. He was like, oh, I don't know. And I was like, I don't know either. So I was like, okay, we'll take one later. We had to go get COVID tests that day, so we were kind of just dilly-daddling around the house. He was feeling a little better, but he still wasn't feeling great. And I don't know, like in my head, normally every time I've taken a pregnancy test, I pee in a cup. I didn't even pee on a cup. I literally just peed on a stick. So I couldn't even take another one at the time. So a couple hours later, I had to pee again. I peed in the cup this time, put the tests in it, and I used some, like, I literally took 3 tests. I took a little strip test, a regular test, and a, like, pregnant, not pregnant test. I stuck them all in there. And it was positive, like right away positive. So I was so excited. And I went out there and I just told him, I'm like, we're pregnant, we're having a kid. So that's how we found out. I know it's not like the most romantic thing ever, and I wasn't able to surprise him or get any reaction like on film for him, which is so sad because I have always wanted to do that. But I don't think he would have wanted to be on camera at that moment either. You know, he wasn't like not excited, but he wasn't like, you know, he was in shock. He was like, oh God, what did we do? You know, like we're gonna, oh no. So it was really exciting. And then I got COVID. Oh. And then I got the C word too. So so I took the test on Wednesday. By Thursday I wasn't feeling good. I had like a sore throat by Thursday. By Friday I was pretty miserable. Saturday, Sunday I definitely had it. I never went back to get a test because my original test on that Wednesday was negative. But his was positive, so it was pretty obvious that I most likely had it. So it couldn't work for a couple weeks and I couldn't catch my breath. So honestly, that first month, I feel like it's such a blur. I just had terrible tummy aches, and you know, I was already coughing and having a hard time with that. So it was just a tough time for a couple of weeks. And then I don't think that trying to think. I'd say probably, so I probably found out around 5 weeks or so. And then we had our ultrasound at the end of 8 weeks. And I saw the little munchkin. It was there, little gummy worm, or gummy bear, not a gummy worm, a gummy bear. And I'd say right around then, I was still having really bad tummy aches, but not necessarily throwing up. But probably by like between like 8 and 10 weeks, I was miserable. I was throwing up like every single day. I was so nauseous. I was just miserable. I mean, I missed so much work probably. And then I was super itchy, so I think my body was adjusting to things. And then I began to get an aversion to eggs, so like mayo, eggs, tartar sauces, like all that weird stuff. I could not eat it, which is funny because at the beginning of my pregnancy, that's like all I had was I had tilapia, I had, so you know, I was eating like that kind of stuff with like the tartar sauce. I was having sandwiches, not like bad sandwiches. I was having sandwiches I could eat being pregnant. And I had like an egg sandwich every morning, and now all of a sudden it was like, boom, you can't eat any of that without getting like super sick and uncomfortable. Did you know what? Yeah, I did. Yeah. So, so I was sick throughout that time, and I would say just like the sickness, the nauseousness, the uncomfortableness of like having the tummy aches every day. I was still constipated. The constipation didn't end probably until like the beginning of the second trimester, and even like now I'm in my second trimester and I am still a little constipated here and there, but it's not uncomfortable or like anything like that. So it wasn't until, oh gosh, just before the end of my first trimester that I started to just have the insomnia. I could not sleep, I could not get comfy. I had pregnancy pillows, I had little body blocker things, but I could not get comfortable. So that was probably my last symptom that came with my first trimester. It's gone here in my second trimester though. So it only lasted probably a month, but I mean, a month of like not sleeping well is terrible. Let me think here. I think that's everything. Honestly, I think that was everything that kind of happened in my first trimester. It was really miserable just because of the stomach aches, the nausea, and the fact that I was still getting over COVID, and it takes a while to get over COVID. But I was really, like, I didn't have it as bad as some people have it, but it was just very uncomfortable and kind of miserable. But I think the COVID had I'm just gonna say it. I think the COVID had a lot to do with it. But what can you expect? I mean, it kind of like attacks everything. But we got over it really fast, so that was really good. It's just, I think a lot of the little you know, like the cough lingered, so like coughing would like then upset my stomach more because of all the flexing, and yeah, so I would say that that's all that kind of happened there in that first trimester. But the second trimester, I feel like a lot more kind of went on. So I think I'm gonna do a second trimester video as well, and in that video, I think I'll add anything that like was super helpful for me in it, because I did add a few things which I think helped with a lot of issues. But I think that's it for this video. I hope it was okay with you guys that I just sat in my car during the whole thing. But I wasn't gonna go home and try and film it with all the dogs, so here I am. And I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great day.